What is up, YouTube? Today we're talking about a real estate investing tool that you need to have in your toolkit to be able to do deals, generate income, and also solve a lot of sellers' problems. So let's hit it. What is going on, guys? So today we are talking about wholesaling real estate, but before we jump into that, go ahead and hit that like button for me. I'll wait for you. Alright, good. Now that we can move forward. So wholesaling is a term that gets thrown around a lot in the real estate investing space. Technically, it's not investing, it is marketing to find deals, but we're not going to get into all the semantics on that issue. But first, before we start jumping into wholesaling, we need to know exactly what it is. So wholesaling is basically the art of finding deeply discounted real estate. What that means is the ability to buy real estate that needs work that you can buy at much less than it's worth by taking the risk to do the renovations to add value so that you can build in that equity. So basically it is how to find houses for cheap. So there's several different ways that you can do wholesaling. There's actually three main ways. One is a assignment. So what that means is you are assigning a contract. So think about it this way. When you put a property under contract to buy, you use a contract, right? You need to have a specific contract for wholesaling that has an assignment clause. Our realtor form actually does not allow assignments unless the seller and the buyer both sign off on it, so technically you can do an assignment, but everybody has to be aware of what's going on. Typically, you're going to have an assignment clause that says this buyer can assign all of the rights of this contract to another buyer that will then close on the property. So you have a contract that says that, you get that signed with a seller, and that seller is willing to sell, and they need to sell quickly. So you put the property under contract at $50,000. Then you market that property and you find a cash buyer, and now that is the ticket. It does have to be cash or private money in this instance. You can't use Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac loans at this point. And you're going to actually have a assignment agreement where you're going to just basically flip that piece of paper to this end buyer. So you put it under contract at $50,000, then you market it to other people, say at $60,000, and you have a cash buyer that is willing to put a deposit down and pay $60,000 for that. So you have your contract with the seller for $50,000, and you have an assignment agreement that you and the buyer sign for $10,000, and you make that spread of the $10,000. So that is wholesaling when it comes to an assignment agreement. The second thing is actually going to be a double close. Some people are doing this a lot more now because there are certain states that are cracking down on wholesaling. I'm not going to get into that big time because there's a bunch of ethics stuff that people are like, oh, this is so messed up. The way that I see it is you should have to be licensed to be able to do this. And if you're going to act like a broker, you have to be licensed for it. That's the way I feel about it, is that the people that are doing wholesaling should be licensed and should know what the heck's going on, so that we don't have all these people giving it a bad rap that have no intent of actually they have no ability to buy that property, nor do they have the intent to buy it. If they can't find a buyer, they back out, puts a bad taste in the seller's mouth, makes us other real estate investors that actually close deals look bad. It's just a mess. Sorry, I'm getting off my high horse or soapbox. What is it? Soapbox? I guess it'd be soapbox.
Stop it. Get some help.
Get off my soapbox now about whether or not there should be regulations in that. Definitely think there should. So the second thing is going to be doing a double close. So essentially you're going to do the exact same thing, except for you've got to find the money to close on that property, and then you're going to immediately sell it again to that other buyer. And then at that point you would incur extra closing costs. So you have to pay the attorneys to do all the paperwork for you to close, and then whatever the deal is worked out with the buyer for that second closing costs. So that is another way. The third way is, and this is becoming more popular as the market is getting really good and really hot, is buying a property that needs work or needs a little bit of work or just needs to be cleaned out or something small like that. So you're buying it directly from the seller. Maybe they are in a bind and they're like, I don't have time to do anything. Can you buy it? And that's where that benefit comes in. But this third thing is called wholetailing, which is basically a slang word that us real estate investors have come up with is I'm gonna buy this property and I'm gonna do basically zero work. I might clean it out, put just new floor in the kitchen or something, you know, small stuff that's very small renovation that takes under a week basically, and then you're just gonna relist it and put it on the active MLS market with a real estate agent. So that is wholetailing. And in this market, if you're doing that, you can make a significant amount of money, and you can provide a service to a seller that, you know, may be in a bind and needs to sell quickly and doesn't want to have to deal with showings and cleaning and all that stuff. So you're providing a good service. So that is the third way that you can quote unquote wholesale real estate. So I hope this was helpful. This is a super high level of it. The ways to find deals. Now let's get into that just a little bit before we end here. The ways to find deals for wholesaling is going to be, you're going to have to do that marketing yourself. So whether that be direct mail, you can make cold calls to these certain lists, absentee owners, high equity, whatever it is that you want to call, and find those sellers that way. Those are the best ways. Estates, stuff like that. You want to find somebody that needs your help, that doesn't know how to sell a house. They need to sell it fast and they need a cash offer. So that is where you find some deals. I'm not going to go into that super in depth, but that is what wholesaling is. Those are the three most common ways to do it. You can also do assignments with creative financing and all that, but that's,
Stop it.
this is a entry-level exposure to what is wholesaling real estate. And if you do want to get into the real estate investing space, I'd be happy to help you, show you what list to call, things like that. I'm happy to have any conversation with people about that. Wholesaling's great. I've done it multiple times and it's been great. It's a quick way to make money. You can really help these sellers out. So I hope this was helpful. Look forward to seeing you next week. Peace.